There are some aspects of movies that people ignore when it's done the right way. My example here is sound design. It's obvious enough how important good sound design is for a movie, but something I think we don't talk enough about is selective sound design. Don't know what I mean? Well, allow me to take you on a wonderfully confusing run-on sentence about just that. By now you should know that I like Star Wars, which is why we're starting at Star Wars, specifically the opening shot of Revenge of the Sith. But first, let me ask you something. You have a scene where two old foes are facing each other for the first time in 30 years, and the setting is a noisy city backdrop. In real life, you'd hear everything in the environment. From the cars to the people, sirens, birds, wind, whatever. Everything makes a sound. But as a filmmaker, and especially as a sound designer, your job isn't to follow standard logic. Much like the use of a proper camera angle, a musical sting, or just the right movement in an otherwise steady frame, sound is meant to help the audience focus on the most important aspect of the scene. So in the opening of Revenge of the Sith, you have all this stuff going on. Hundreds of cruisers shooting at each other, thousands of fighters flying around, and every little blaster bolt and explosion that they fire. How do you approach such a chaotic scene like this? By figuring out what matters, and forgetting everything else. The first 30 seconds of the opening is just the sounds of their ships and the music. Then we open up to the giant battle. What do we focus on here? The space flak exploding near the camera, the ships that fly across the screen to accentuate chaos, then it's just their ships and the music again. Even though it's sort of an extreme example, the point here is that we aren't hearing anything we can't already see. You probably didn't notice that the Jedi Starfighters were silent when you could hear flak exploding and the sounds of the passing ships. As human beings, we naturally tune out sounds that either become monotonous or unimportant. Since filmmaking is an enhanced experience of reality, we look at the scene like this. Think of different sounds in a scene like people talking at a party. You have no problem focusing on one person talking. You understand every word and the meaning those words convey. Then another person walks in and starts talking over your friend. It's slightly more cluttered, but if you wanted to, you could pick out one person's words over the other. A third person walks in and starts talking. Now all you're hearing is noise. Translate these values into the sounds that you put into a scene. Since this method is so clean, instead of having 30 different tracks with 100 sound effects cluttering each one, we paid attention to what was important and we only need 3 separate audio tracks because of it. You also have to look at different kinds of audio like people talking. Like if you have your music and your sound effects portraying the same emotion, it's just redundant. Sound effects, visuals, and music all have their own jobs to do. Don't make them all responsible for the same one. But perhaps, for some crazy reason, a Star Wars prequel may not be enough evidence to support my claim. Well, still Star Wars, but check out this scene from the 2003 Star Wars Clone Wars series. In this sequence, a squad of ARC troopers stumbles upon a droid AAT. When their fearless commander has had enough of it, he calls down a clone hidden above the AAT to take it out. If you're more observant than I was, you might have noticed that he shot 3 more holes in that tank than the 3 that we heard. What a snafu on the editor's part, you might think. Was it a snafu? Or is it no coincidence that the music cuts out long enough for the blaster shots to synchronize with the rhythm of the Absent music? You decide. Hey, so what did we learn? When you're editing sounds, pay attention. Don't just put sounds where there would be sounds. Put sounds where they have a purpose. I ate 12 honeybees and that finally got me kicked out of prom. Hey, I'm Cake. Why don't you subscribe to my YouTube channel? You don't want to miss out on the stuff that's coming up, because you know what? When you miss out, you actually lose out in the stock market. You don't want to lose money, do you? I don't. I certainly don't. You shouldn't. Don't do it.